Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. In today's video, I'll explain the difference between SAP Business One licenses and user authorizations. A lot of people get confused and they think if they can allow everything to a user in the user authorization, then why they need to have a particular license. So the basic difference between license and authorization is a license holder can do something in business one based on the license rights. That is something you can say like a legal right to use the application. While the authorization is on top of those legal rights, you want to restrict some users to access some specific documents. For example, a logistic user is allowed to create a purchase order, but you don't want that user to create a purchase order, then you will apply the authorizations to restrict that user to access the purchase order. Now, there are different types of licenses available in SAP Business One. So, the first one is the limited license, and under limited, you have subtypes limited logistic license, limited financial, and limited CRM license. So, logistic is basically for the people who will do logistic stuff. Let's say they'll create purchase orders, they will create goods received notes, or they'll do inventory transfer or something related to production. I mean, it's like non-financial users. And the financial license is for people who are in the finance department and their main job is to, let's say, process journal vouchers, payments, or supplier invoices, or generate trial balance or balance sheet or financial reports. And CRM user is for CRM people who are basically responsible for sales quotations, customer relationship management, leads management, or sales opportunity management. There is another license type, professional license. A professional license means the professional license holder can do anything in business one if he or she is allowed uh, to to access everything in business one through the authorization. There is a third type that is indirect access user. So indirect access user is basically used in case you have integrations with third party applications and users interact with third-party application and that third-party application sends data to SAP Business One and create transactions in Business One. So a lot of people they don't follow the correct license agreement in case of indirect access. For example, you have a point of sale application and there are three different users who access the POS and all three users create sales transactions in point of sale. So what most of partners or customers do, this they have only one user in SAP that process all the data coming from point of sale, which is not correct. The correct way is every user who uses a point of sale application and creates a sales invoice, that user should have an indirect access license in SAP. There are some other license types also, let's say add-on license, B1I license, but those licenses are free. So I will not explain those categories here. And regarding the authorizations, for example, a user has logistic license and that logistic license allows the user to create a purchase order, but you want to restrict that user from creating a purchase order. Similarly, let's say a financial user have read-only access to sales order, but you let's say you want them to completely restrict the sales order. I mean, they should not be able to even view the sales order. So in that scenario, you will use the authorization to restrict that user to access a specific document. You can find the license comparison chart in the description of this video. There is a link to access the license comparison chart for version 10, and this chart will help you to understand the types of licenses and uh, I mean what can be done by a specific license holder. For example, a CRM holder can fully access the list of companies, or a CRM holder can change the password, or in terms of the transaction, that CRM holder license can create activities to the business partner master data, create sales order, okay, and create sales quotation, and so on, so on. And you can see in this chart there is another license, mobile user sales or mobile user service license. So these licenses are basically for the SAP Business One mobile app users. So you can find the documentation about these licenses on the SAP portal. Mainly, these are licenses for the users who will access the SAP Business One sales app or SAP Business One service application. So I will explain those applications in another video, maybe later time in the future. So let's have a look in the system also. So in the system, if I access the license administration window, I can see these are the available license types. Okay, and if I click on any user, I can find this user has a professional license. And these are add-on workflow and B1, as I mentioned earlier, these are free licenses. Okay, and in terms of the authorization, so if I access the general authorization window, once I choose a user, I can authorize this user to access the sales order, let's say full authorization, read only, or no authorization. Similarly, if I choose, let's say manager 2, so this is a super user. Super user means that user will have access to everything. I can't change the authorization of this user. And please keep in mind, even if a user is marked as super user and that user has limited license, again that user will not be able to do the transactions which are not allowed through that limited user. So similarly, another user, Marilena, I can select the user and change the authorizations. So all the modules or all the screens or all the documents in Business One, they are available in the authorization window. All you have to do is you need to choose the user and apply the authorizations. You can apply the authorizations based on the user groups also, but that's not a discussion for today. Maybe I'll cover it in another video. So thank you very much for today. Please like, subscribe, and share.